My fascinating guest here on Going Beyond today is Mr. John Samuel. Spent many, many years of his life in the postal department in our country, and he has lots to tell us. Let me get on with it. Now, sir, I believe you had something called a floating post office in Kashmir. Did it work?
That's right. Basically, I was telling about connecting with the people. Now,
Yes,
Kashmir is a place where a lot of tourists come, especially to the Dal Lake in Srinagar. Now, I want them to get a very good experience of Dal Lake, and they should also know a little bit more about the postal system. So, we established a floating post office. It is right inside the Dal Lake, and it's a wonderful experience because it has got a post shop. It also has got a small museum on postal system, and so for the tourists it's a big attraction. Once they come over there, they're so fascinated that inside the Dal Lake, and mind you, I want to tell you that this is the only floating post office in the world today.
My gosh, that's a huge story.
Yeah, that's right.
I was
That's
thinking
right.
like the floating markets in Bangkok.
Ah.
Absolutely. Now, post-retirement, I know that you've been involved in other things, and I'm going to draw you out now in this last segment about what you're actually doing with yourself right now. Is it in relation to the postal department or anything at all connected?
Well, in the 35 years of my involvement in the government, I did realize that if India is to be transformed, all of us has to get involved in terms of leadership development. I felt after studying many countries, and I felt that one of the things that is much required in India today is the development of leaders. Now, we have many leaders in India, but they may be of the level 1 and level 2. We need to bring them from level 1, level 2 to level 4 and level 5, where they'll be able to give back to the society. They'll be like a noble leadership with noble values. Now, unless we aim at that, probably as a country will not be able to grow much. So, I wanted to start a small leadership development programs, and that's how we started the Transform Consulting, which focuses on leadership development. I am also going for many motivational sessions in different places. So, for the last 2 years I have been doing this Transform Consulting, involved in leadership development, financial service. I am basically a chartered accountant, so I have also been involved in the how you can use the financial service in a creative way in terms of financial inclusion in the country. So, across the world I go and tell people about the financial inclusion and leadership development. That has been my focus.
Who do you aim to transform? I mean, you are talking about leadership and then levels 3 and 4. So, those people are already there. Do they need to be transformed?
I would say there is a huge leadership deficit in India. They need to be transformed. They need to be literally helped in terms of changing their mindset from where they are to the level 4 and level 5, where they understand that if they have come to a successful level, they should use that platform of success to launch into something big for the nation, so that the nation is developed. So, I would say transformation starts with transformation of individuals, transformation of institutions, and the transformation of the nation as a whole. I am much concerned that India, with 135 crore people, should be transformed in a larger level in terms of nation with values, a nation with very good health, a nation which strives for not only just prosperity, but the socio-economic development where everybody is uplifted.
Sir, do you believe that our real problem here is self-discipline and selfishness? So, do you think that we need to be combining these two? We should be much more unselfish, and we should be tremendously more self-disciplined.
Discipline is one of the factors, but if a person looks at his, whether you are a business person or whether you are a person who is working in the government or private, if you think that, I will always tell the people who are in the civil services, when I meet the IAS and IPS officers in Mussoorie and the different places, I always tell them, don't take your job as a job or a work, but it should be treated as a calling. If you are a businessman, it's a calling. If we take it as a calling, probably the kind of work that will be totally different. It's not self-centered, but it's centered on the development of the nation as a whole, centered on the society's development. So the individual should be transformed, and when the individual is transformed in his thinking, he will primarily thinking of the society's development. It's apart from his individual development. So from self-centeredness, he has to move away to a society development with the right values.
Right, but Mr. Samuel, is it possible to actually instill that in people? I was just wondering, hasn't it got to be inside you, in your inner being in a way? I mean, can you actually go and tell people that this is the way they should be? Is it possible?
I strongly believe that the way God has created man is he has got an inner calling, and if he is transformed inside, probably my transformation came because I had that close relationship with Jesus Christ. When my life was transformed, then I feel that I should contribute something to the society. And the transformation, when it happens inward, then this transformation we will be able to pass it on to the society also in a larger level. But if that doesn't happen, probably it will become only a social service outside. From the inner thing, you may not be able to really.
But that, of course, can happen to anybody, irrespective of where they're coming from, faith-wise, and that's possible, of course, for sure. But so then what happens then, Mr. Samuel? If you go in and start to try to teach somebody something, isn't it social service then? It is in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, social transformation, that's where everyone should be involved. I would say that everyone should spend a part of his time for the development of the society. Yes, you got your family. Now, when I said about faith, yes, it's a faith drives you, whichever
could be any faith,
whichever area that you belong to. But it's a faith literally directs you, and you understand what's the calling of your life, what's the purpose of your life. And then you realize, okay, I should not only be talking about my personal thing, I should also be involved in the development of my family, the development of the people around me, the development of my own staff who are working in my office, and the development of my whole people in my country.
So the next logical question to that is, you said that you were dealing with IPS and IAS people and people who are in positions of power in the government. I just need to know, are they receptive at all to somebody like you going and telling them this or speaking to them about issues like this?
I don't go and tell them, rather they come to me quite often.
And so when they do come, are they coming because of this?
They are quite receptive, because everyone looks at they want to do, probably this particular aspect they are not aware sometimes. I had close association with Dr. Abdul Kalam as a president when he was there. Many times I used to meet him.
He was a great person.
A great person. Yes. And he had influenced me a lot. And most of the times when we talk about John, I want you to dream of a country where the country with right values come up. This country should be a prosperous country, and I want you to. Now, if he can influence me substantially, I can also influence many other people. And influencing with the right values, I would say that's a beautiful study of the United Nations. It says that if you have got good ideas, and if it has to be inculcated, and if the other people has to get into their ideas, what it requires is a critical mass of just 2%.
Indeed.
And so I strongly believe that a small critical mass of people who have been thinking about the development of the nation and the right values. If we start working upon the transformation of individuals, transformation of some of this level 1, level 2 leaders to level 4 and level 5, in a short time we should be able to transform the country. And that's the reason I focus on civil servants. That's the reason I focus on some of the people who are influential people. They can also be part of this transformation of the nation.
Right. Mr. Samuel, I do believe that you're touching the right buttons when you talk about the leadership and bettering our leaders. And I do wish you all the very best, and I appreciate your time here today, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jenifer. It was nice talking to you.
Great. With me.
Great.
Well, that's all we have time for here on Going Beyond. We do hope that you continue watching our program. As I always say, remember, on this show, you're going to listen to people who are interesting, who are fascinating, and people who always have a story to tell us. So until the next time, you take care. Bye for now.